Hey guys, this is Luke, the president and founder of Teslux Innovations Inc. Today we're going to be going over the install process for our Plaid Series headlights as well as our optional fog lights. Even if it's not the performance package, our Plaid Series fog lights will still be able to be installed. As you can see, the bumper has already been removed. If you need a reference for that, we do have a video up on our YouTube page at Teslux Innovations. We've had a lot of customers ask what the differences between the stock and our Plaid Series headlights are, so today we're going to take the opportunity to show you that. We have the Plaid Series headlight installed currently on the passenger side, and on the driver we have the stock headlight still installed. We're going to be going over the differences between the two, as well as installing the driver side headlight to complete the installation. Let's get started. First things first, we're going to show the operation of the startup animation. Pay attention to the OEM headlights because you will notice that there is no startup or shutdown animation from the stock headlights, but from the Plaid Series there is. This is the default startup animation. You'll notice that the top eyelid on the OEM headlights does run white. However, our Plaid Series headlights offer 3 zones, the turn signal, reflector, and eyelid location, in which can be customized from your app directly from your phone. The shutdown animation is as follows. You'll notice that the inside components are no longer chrome in the Plaid Series headlights. It is a combination of glossy and matte black accents that really darken up and give your headlights the blacked out look. In the stock headlights, you'll notice that the chrome accents are prevalent in both the top and bottom sections of the light. As you can see, there is a huge difference between the Plaid Series headlights and the stock OEM headlights. Let's get started. Okay, so now that we got the stock headlight out of the car, we have our Plaid Series headlight on the right and our stock headlight on the left. The main reason why we're doing this is we're swapping the stock driver that is programmed to your car over to our housing, so that way there's no complications or issues with the communication protocol in the car itself. All right, first things first, I'm gonna take this headlight, put it over to the side. Here's your stock headlight. There are 3 T20 screws right here. We have an electric screwdriver, but a manual is just fine. You're going to remove the 3 screws, set them down to the side. Okay. Driver will pull out and drop down. Now, on the driver itself, there is a white harness plug with a locking tab. You're going to want to have a small screwdriver to be able to get in there. Push this tab in right here to lift this up. So you're going to want to grab it with your finger, push, and pull up. From this point, you can use the screwdriver to be able to slowly pry it out of the plug. There's your stock driver. Now we're going to set this headlight aside. Your Plaid Series headlights are going to have a driver installed, but most likely not hooked up. This is just to ensure that the headlights are still sealed during shipping. So you're going to pull these 3 screws out just like you did before. We're going to take these 3 screws for the stock and put them back over here to make sure they stay with the car. Now that you have the stock driver ready to be reinstalled, you want to pay close attention to how the harness seats into the driver itself. This black locking tab needs to go completely down into a locking position. Push evenly down until the tab gets to about this point, then grab that black locking tab and pull it down and click it into position. When you hear that click, you know it's locked in. Then reinstall the driver. Reinstall all 3 T20 screws. And you're good to go. Now that we've completed swapping the driver, you're going to repeat this on the opposite side to make sure it's completed on both, and we're going to go install it in the car. Let's go. All right, so now that we have both headlights installed, we are going to go over the harnesses that are included in the Plaid Series package. Mind you, if you need any reference guide on how to remove and reinstall the bumper or to install the headlights, that is available on our YouTube page. We have a cross harness in which needs to be run across to the opposite side headlight. This is so that they can be able to communicate together. We've got the fog light harness. If you decided not to purchase the fog lights, that's not a problem. Just zip tie this up underneath the headlight, and if at any given time you decide to do that upgrade, this will always be available and ready to go plug and play for you. And on the passenger side headlight, you've got the fuse holder. This is to be ran up towards the battery so it's easily accessible in case of any failures or issues. First things first, we're going to start with the fuse harness. We're going to run this up towards the battery. You're going to run this up underneath the headlight and through this hole right here. Going to pull the remaining harness through, up under here. Then what we're going to do is just run naturally with the stock harness. Then we're going to run underneath your ground harness, pull the remaining through so you're able to work with it. In this car it's got air ride, but typically you will not have this. We're going to run that behind. Pull it through. I'm going to run this up under here. And then this will be able to be zip tied up here towards the battery itself. Once you have the fuse holder up near the battery location, you will want to mount it where you can easily access it. This mounting location is completely up to the end user. However, we recommend you mount it up near the positive terminal of the battery. Next up is the interconnect harness. This is to allow the headlights to communicate together. We're going to start by running this up underneath the frame rail and meeting in the center of the vehicle up underneath the front latch. So you want to run it up underneath the frame rail. And we are going to zip tie all the way across, but we want to mount this first side right about here centered, so that way it can be easily accessible if needed in the future. Now we're on the driver's side. We're going to do the exact same thing as we did on the passenger side, run it underneath the frame rail, and then meet right in the middle underneath the front latch. So now that we have everything installed, we need to deal with the excess slack. The easy way to do this is to just fold up and lock into place. And you can do 2 to 3 zip ties. All right, moving on to the fog lights here. We've got 3 main mounting locations that we need to remove, and then the fog lights will actually be able to easily be taken off the bumper, and we're going to repeat that on the other side as well. The beauty of the non-performance model fog lights is that you still have your main harness that will integrate into our Plaid series fog lights. Let's get started. So these main harnesses can be a little tricky to remove. What you want to do is you want to pull the tab all the way back and then pull it out with it. Then when it comes to the plastic locking tabs on the top, you're going to need to pry them up slowly to be able to pull it away from the actual bumper itself. Like so. And sometimes they'll get re-clicked, so you got to lift it up, kind of work its way up. Okay, once you get the fog light out of the bumper mount location, you have two locations that you need to pinch to be able to remove the locking clips. These clips hold the main harness. So what you want to do is grab a set of needle nose pliers, pinch, and when you pinch, at the same time that you're pinching, you want to be pulling on the back side. So we're going to pinch and pull, just like that. Same as this side, we're going to pinch both sides together and pull it back. Simple as that. All right, so now that we have the fog lights removed from the bumper locations, we're going to take our Plaid series fog lights and install them in the exact same locations. So we're going to take the main harness mounts, the harness clips, lock those back into position like so. And we're going to take the fog light, use the alignment tabs to push it into place. You should feel a click on all four locations. From that point, you're going to take your 3 mounting hardware screws and reinstall those. Now what I like to do before I tighten it down is I like to place all 3 screws into the locations that they came out of in order to help with alignment. Then from that bottom corner to this top will help that it makes sure that it seats correctly. And that's it. Then you take the stock harness, plug that in right there, lock that tab into place, and then this plugs into the bottom of the headlight. In my right hand, I'm holding the fog light output harness from the headlight housings, and in my left hand, I'm holding the input harness for the fog lights. You're going to simply take the barrel connector, push them together, and tighten the collar down. Easy as that. Repeat on the other side. And just like that, your headlights are installed and you're ready to rock.